Hello friends, welcome to the official YouTube page of Everest IAS Academy. So today we are going to discuss January 21, 2020 Hindu newspaper analysis from the UPSC Prelims 2020 point of view. So let's go into the video friends. The first article which came in the headlines is Supreme Court declines to stay poll bond scheme. So basically here they are discussing about the electoral bond scheme friends. So this electoral bond scheme has been brought up by our BJP government. So during the time period of 2017. So that was introduced as part of financial bill in 2017. So that was the time period it was introduced. So later what happened? This electoral bond scheme, its legality has been actually a petition has been filed in the Supreme Court to declare it as unconstitutional. The reason behind because even the Election Commission and Reserve Bank of India they have strongly objected to the scheme because of the opaqueness it is promoting. Although the government is saying it will lead to transparency, but if you see the RBI report and the Election Commission report, they are clearly saying it is promoting anonymous funding. So we cannot know who is the person who is funding for a particular political party. So that is the major criticism regarding that, and now the Supreme Court has made it very clear that we cannot stay this and they will continue with the electoral bond scheme. So that's a thing friends, but we will learn some basics regarding electoral funds. As we have discussed, this was introduced as part of budget during the 2017 budget time. As part of finance bill, we have introduced these electoral bonds. They are nothing but a kind of promissory notes, so that will be actually available. So friends, actually any people, any citizen of India, they can actually go and purchase these bonds from only from a designated agency, that is from the State Bank of India. They will be giving these promissory notes to the people, and every year, every quarterly, which means like every 3 months in a financial year, there will be a time period. 10 months only will be given. Only in this 10 days we will be selling these promissory notes. It's called electoral bonds. So the people can go and buy these, and within a time period of 15 days the particular political party has to convert it into a cash, so they have to encash it. But what it has actually led, what the mainly opposition parties are saying means, it is actually whatever the black money has been there, that they are doing recycling, especially the BJP party, and also it is leading to political bribery, because most of the business communities are doing, and we don't know who is actually the person, because we cannot know who is the identity behind this. So that's the problem friends. As we have said, electoral bonds actually it has resulted in money laundering, and it has destroyed the transparency in the funding of political parties. So that's the main criticism. And one more thing friends, when we are presenting these promissory notes or bonds we call, so what happens is that we will be giving that promissory notes only in actually in the multiples of 1000, 10,000, 1 lakh, 10 lakh and 1 crore. Only in these 5 denominations we can actually, the persons can go and buy these. So, and they have to, the person whoever is buying, they have to submit their KYC details, and the political parties will cash them within 15 days. Now the problem is, although the KYC is given and the political party also knows who is the person who has given them, but the beneficiary political party, they will not reveal the identity. That's why it is promoting opaqueness. And one of the major criticism what the Election Commission has been saying is that under the Representation of People Act, so we have a legislation like under the Representation of People Act, as we say RP Act, there is one actually provision that actually clearly prohibits political parties from getting donations from government companies or foreign resources. Now we don't know whether that denomination, whatever fund they are getting, is it from foreign sources or like through black money recycling, or what it is, nobody is clear. That's why the Election Commission and even RBI is opposing this. So the main allegation regarding this, it is promoting secret donations. Next article is IMF lowers India's growth forecast to 4.8%. So basically we know friends, already there is a slowdown happening in the India in particular, and that's why we call it as a phase of stagflation, where we have a rising increase in prices, and then there is actually an reduction in growth rate and increase in unemployment. These 3 conditions are prevailing in the Indian economy. Due to that, our growth rate has been revised by IMF recently to 4.8% only. But one positive side regarding the IMF report is, friends, one more thing is this, the IMF has published as part of its World Economic Outlook. Kindly remember it, because usually in the preliminary examination what they will ask is basically regarding to one report who is publishing will basically get some 2 to 3 questions every year. So kindly remember this this friends, IMF only publishes this. In this World Economic Outlook only, one positive side what they are saying means, so now the government has reduced the corporate rate. So due to that, Indian economy is that in the long term the growth will be actually promoted, it is saying. And the world economy, how much it is going to grow means, this year they have predicted only 3.3%. The main reason is because of India's slowdown only, they are saying. As we have already discussed, the slowdown is basically due to these two main problems according to this report. One is that non-banking financial sector. So there is a huge stress which is prevailing and there is no demand. So that is like weak rural income growth is happening. So that is the main two problems IMF has given. Next article is government yet to seek green nod for water aerodomes. Basically friends, this water aerodomes is a new concept and India is trying to implement it. So we are actually planning to establish 10 aerodromes. These aerodromes will be established in the seas or lakes. Now the problem is government is still actually hoping for the environmental clearance to get this. Why the problem means? Because it will create noise pollution. Because under this aerodrome, what is the concept means? Water aerodrome means it is actually any open water, can be lakes or like open seas. In that it can be used by like aircrafts like seaplanes and amphibious aircraft. They can go on directly land. Suppose if you see friends, suppose this is the lake. If you see, suppose this is the lake means an aircraft can directly come and land. Those directly landing on the normal like seawater or lake water, we call it as seaplanes. And those aircrafts which can also land in addition to on land also, that we call it as amphibious aircraft. So that's a basic difference. So one main criticism is it will create noise pollution. Also it will affect the ecosystem like fishes, other marine animals or lake related all biotic animals will get destroyed. That's what the major problem the experts are saying. In addition, what we will do means we will also provide a terminal like buildings, jetties will be developed where these seaplanes can be parked. If you see, this is the jetty or dock which you are going to develop, and this is actually the seaplane which can actually make a direct land off in the sea or lake surface only. But if it makes on these docks or jetties, then we call it as amphibious aircraft. So what is a positive thing means it will promote tourism in our country. We are planning to establish this in 5 states, and now Andaman Nicobar also we are planning to establish. Next article is the Great Indian Citizenship Mess. Basically, this article came in the opinion article. Here, the author is mainly criticizing the Supreme Court for all the flaws which are happening regarding the Citizenship Amendment Act. So, what the author is mainly saying means there was actually a famous judgment which was given by the Supreme Court in 2005, and that judgment actually has actually struck down one important thing. That is the Assam Specific Migrant Zone Act was passed at that time. It has struck down. What it has said means in that act, it has been very clear that the burden of proof, suppose a person wants to prove citizenship, means that the proof has to be established by the state. Suppose if the state is actually trying to say a person is not a citizen, means it has to give a justification. So that objective, that responsibility has been given upon the state rather than the person to grow and submit the proof as a citizen or foreigner. So that was the actual idea, and Supreme Court has struck down. So they are saying in addition to this, in the judgment only, Supreme Court has told that like in the case of Assam, so many illegal migrants are coming and settling, and it has changed the demography. So this was actually considered to be one of the seed which has been rooted by Supreme Court. That's what the author is saying. So because of this, what happened, the National Register of Citizen exercise, this has been conducted in 2019 friends, and this exercise has been conducted also only due to the judgment of Supreme Court only. That's what this author is saying. So due to all this only, this NRC has been down. Now the government is looking to conduct this exercise on an all India level. So all these routes has been ceded by Supreme Court only. In addition, the Assam record, this was signed in 1985, and then this Sonowal judgment, that's we have discussed, the Supreme Court judgment. So both these actually laid the route for conducting this NRC exercise. Based on that, we will identify the citizen and foreigner. So, if you see the Assam Accord basic provision, it is signed during the time period of Rajiv Gandhi government time period, Congress time period. That time it was very clear, the objective has been mainly to target Muslims only. That only the government has done now through the Citizenship Amendment Act. So, all the routes has been framed only by the Supreme Court. Had the Supreme Court has not given a controversial judgment in the Sonowal verdict, if it has not struck down, the state would have been having that responsibility to identify who is a foreigner. Now, like it is the burden upon the citizens to go and have that documentary proof. And moreover, it is a Supreme Court which has made it very clear. There are Bengalis who are coming and like occupying in the state of Assam, and those are called as outsiders. It has used these words, and this is why like this author is very much critical about the Supreme Court in particular. So he is saying that this Citizenship Amendment Act, which is now like pending in the Supreme Court, and it is going, the judgment is going to be like the court is going to hear this on January 22, so hopefully tomorrow. So there he is very clear that it is violating the constitutional values of secularism, so it will be declared unconstitutional. That's what the author is saying. Next article is Manipuri tribes call truce after decades of conflict. Basically this article discusses about the Naga and Kukis conflict. This conflict has been like decades old conflict. It happened during the time period of 1993, friends, and the basic reason has been the land. So what happens is that if you see means there are two communities, that is the Nagas and Kukis. So Kukis are usually found in the Manipur. So now what happened is that these Nagas wanted to establish a separate like statehood, which is called as Great Nagalim. This is what they wanted to establish, and they have actually included most of the northeastern states under it, like Assam, and then Arunachal Pradesh, and then Manipur, and then even it has included some parts of Myanmar also. So it wanted to basically establish these total areas where Nagas were distributed as a separate country or separate statehood. That's the objective behind this Great Nagalim. So now what happened, due to this Nagalim area also included included some of the Kukis areas in Manipur, the land areas of Kukis. So this led to conflict between these two communities in 1993, and violent clashes happened between them, and it has led to actually like so many people, 230 people have they have died, and it has displaced 1 lakh Kukis, because Nagas were considered to be little more violent. And now like after that, so many peace related accords has been, like peace negotiations have been going on, and now they have concluded this peace agreement, and now they have came to the peace deal. That's the final thing, friends. And Kukis, they actually spread most of the areas of northeast, and even they will be found in Myanmar as well as Bangladesh area also. They are also considered to be one of the bigger hill tribes only, but their main concentration is in Manipur, where they have suffered this conflict from Nagas. So in addition to this, as we have discussed, this Nagalim, it includes Assam, Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh, and even it includes the international areas of Myanmar also. So now Kukis, what they have finally, they have like came to the negotiation table, means rather than going for a separate statehood, they have agreed to have a autonomous councils, like tribals will be having separate autonomous council. That's what they have finally agreed upon. Next article is Iran says it may pull out of NPT. NPT refers to Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. So basically what happened, Iran is a member of that NPT, and it is saying that it is actually thinking to withdraw from this NPT. The reason behind this is very simple. It is due to the Iran nuclear deal which happened. So basically if you see, friends, this Iran nuclear deal has been signed by P5 countries, which includes USA, Russia, China, and then Britain, and then France, and then plus one country that refers to Germany. So these 6 countries went and signed a nuclear deal with Iran, saying that Iran should not go on to any nuclear related weapons program, or even that atomic energy program. If it is doing, it has to be done under the aegis of IAEA, and there will be like monitoring will be done by this agency, International Atomic Energy Agency. So after that, what happened, US as unilaterally it came out of this agreement, that is the Joint Comprehensive Action Plan, they will say. This was signed in 2015, and actually unilaterally this USA came out, and it has broken the deal. And Iran also later went and started producing. It said that it will go for producing nuclear weapons program. So now it has irritated the other members who have been part of that deal, and they said that they are asking Iran to come for the negotiation table. So basically they are asking for a negotiation for 30 days to 40 days. If they wanted to expand, they can expand. So now like they are actually asking Iran to go back to its previous thing, like not producing this nuclear weapons program. Now if the Iran is not agreeing, means this they will take this issue to the UNSC, and the international sanctions can be imposed upon Iran. So this is why Iran is very much it is angry upon these member countries, and it is saying it will consider withdrawing the NPT. So regarding the prelims, we should understand what is this NPT. It refers to the Non-Proliferation Treaty of Nuclear Weapons. So this agreement has been, negotiation was signed in 1968, and this came into being in 1970. Okay. Now what happened is that The main purpose of this non-proliferation treaty has been to prevent the spread of nuclear weapon technology or peaceful use of nuclear technology for atomic energy purposes. That's the main objective. And even disarmament, like they wanted to destroy the nuclear weapons in the world. This has been the main objective. As of now, even 191 states have been the member of this treaty of non-proliferation agreement. Now the problem what happened, there are only few major countries who have not been member. One among them is North Korea, and another like nuclear weapon states are India, Israel, Pakistan. Why India is particularly didn't sign, considered to be a big non-nuclear weapon state? Why means because the treaty is discriminatory. India is saying they are having a cutoff January 1, 1961. Countries which have tested or having nuclear weapons before 1967, they will be considered as nuclear weapon states and they can have it. And those who started producing nuclear weapons after this, they will not be included under this. They have to go for disarmament. That's why due to this discriminatory provision, India didn't sign this nuclear non-proliferation treaty, because these P5 countries, as we say, they are actually part of it, these especially nuclear weapon states, and they have actually discriminated other countries, and India has not signed this till now. Iran also as part of this, they are as an international level, if you see, it is still confusing whether it has not officially declared it as a nuclear weapon states. Even the South Sudan country, this was formed very recently, it has not joined this nuclear non-proliferation treaty. So kindly remember the member countries, friends, that they can ask in the examination. Final article is Pakistan urges US to get off the Financial Action Task Force grey list. Basically what happened is that Pakistan has been placed under the grey list criteria in Financial Action Task Force. Why? Because through the money laundering mechanism, it is using that money for terrorist financing. That's why Pakistan has been placed in the grey list criteria. So if they are not doing any action from their side by April, then they will be placed in the blacklist. So once the blacklist they are placed, means they will be susceptible to international sanctions like Iran, what they are facing. That's why Pakistan is afraid and it is asking US to consider. So now Financial Action Task Force, if you study the basic means, so basically this was started in 1989. It consists of so many governments. So it is an initiative of G7 countries. The basic idea has been to combat money laundering initially, then they have included terrorist financing also. Its headquarters is in Paris, that is in France, friends. As we have discussed, it has targeting even terrorist financing also. That's why Pakistan has been it has been affected by this. So now Pakistan has been in the grey list. Under that, it will be done monitoring mechanism. Suppose if it is placed in the blacklist, means there will be a call for action internationally and sanctions will be imposed. Thank you, friends. Kindly subscribe to our channel. If you have any doubts, please post your doubts in the comment section.